Hey guys, John here, and welcome to this quick comparison video. What's better, tubes or solid state? In this video, I want to find out the answer, okay? So we're gonna have some fun and compare this UK-made Rockerverb 50 Mark III by Orange tube amplifier, 50 watts, 2 channels, wonderful amplifier, probably my favorite Orange of all time. This is the amp that you heard me play just now as well. We're going to compare that to the sort of solid state counterpart, the Orange Gain Baby 100 watt, very compact solid state amplifier, recently released. Also 2 channels, kind of a similar feature set. It has some extra switches and stuff, but it's kind of similar. And I think, I'm not sure, I think it's kind of based on the sound of the Rockerverb, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to compare them and see which sound is better. Tubes or solid state. Let's have some fun. In terms of the gear and the signal chain, I'm holding my Valiant Jupiter Tony, a really nice guitar with the bare knuckle polymath pickups in it. Going through my pedal board, which I'm not really going to use, maybe for a boost pedal. That's going into the KHE Audio Amp Cab Selector, which I'm going to use to switch between the amplifiers. That is hooked up to my cabinet, my Grossmann Fatbox 1x12 ISO cab, in which I've loaded up my Celestion Vintage 30, my beloved Vintage 30. That's going into the DAW, mic'd up with 3 mics, 2 SM57, 1 MD421 Kompakt, and that's it, okay? So it's nice and raw. And yeah, let's see what the difference is between tubes and solid state, okay? So, again, I'm playing through the Rockerverb 50 Mark III right now on the dirty channel. Sounds like this. Love how that sounds. Very rich, nice and sizzly, very full, plenty of mid-range, so this amp sits in the mix so nicely. 2 EL34s in the power section, by the way. Now let's switch over to the Gain Baby 100 with similar settings, so also with bass, middle, and treble, set to around 1 o'clock-ish, okay? So I'm hearing a little bit different texture there. Let's play a simple chuggy chord and switch between the two, okay? So I'm on the Gain Baby 100 now. Yeah, so with these settings at least, the Rockerverb sounds a little bit more full and a bit more wide, so to speak. There's a bit more mid-range going on with the Gain Baby, so let's lower the mids and crank the bass up a little bit, and also the gain on the Gain Baby. Now, the Gain Baby 100 has a presence control, whereas the Rockerverb does not, okay? And also, all the knobs on this amplifier are notched. So it's not a smooth transition between settings, whereas with this amplifier, there's more wiggle room, right? All right, so let's see how it sounds with these slight tweaks, starting with the Rockerverb. Cool. Let's add some presence on the Gain Baby 100 because the Rockerverb seems to be a little bit brighter. And add a little bit more bass, a little bit more gain, and then switch between the two. Let's see if the levels are equal. So yeah, with the Rockerverb, I can feel a little bit more compression. There's that tube feel going on. It feels very easy to play, a lot of fun to play. Now the Gain Baby is also a lot of fun to play, but it feels a little bit more direct. There's this sort of natural sag and bloom happening on the Rockerverb 50 that the Gain Baby 100 doesn't seem to replicate as of right now, at least with these settings. Anyway, let's tweak a little bit further. Let's add even more gain on the Gain Baby. It's called the Gain Baby after all, right? Let's add some treble and lower the mids even more. I haven't touched the EQ on the Rockerverb yet, but you know what? Let's crank the mids up one notch on the Rockerverb to see if this gets us a little bit closer. So starting again on the Rockerverb. Gain Baby 100. Yeah, so the low-end response is a little bit different. There's also a very grainy sort of texture on both, because that's the signature orange sound, right? But especially on the Gain Baby 100, perhaps that's the solid state thing that's happening there. But sounds good, sounds good. Let's back off the bass a little bit here, because it felt a little bit too overpowering with these settings. Let's go back and compare them once again, starting with the Rockerverb. So yeah, so far I like both. They're not identical, but they sound quite similar. But I can definitely tell that this is a solid state amp and that this is a tube amplifier, at least by the feel. And I feel like the Rockerverb 50 has a bit of a wider sound as well, and that natural tube compression that the Gain Baby 100 can't seem to replicate precisely. For a live situation, does that really matter? That depends on you. People always say, yeah, the audience doesn't care, but you know, it doesn't matter what the player thinks and how the player perceives the tone, right? So let's keep that in mind. Now, the Gain Baby 100 has this little trick that the Rockerverb 50 does not have, which is the tight switch. Let me show you what that does. So right now it's off. And let me switch it on so you can hear what it does, okay? With it on. And off. So with it off, it sounds closer to the Rockerverb, and with it on, it's a bit more percussive and modern sounding. However, let's keep it off, you know, just because it sounds closer to the Rockerverb. The presence control is also not present on the Rockerverb. We can try that just to see how it sounds and how it affects the tone, starting at about 1 o'clock-ish. All the way off. yeah, in order to get the levels just equal, I hope I did it correctly, it's a little bit touchy. You know what I mean? So a little move can make a bigger difference than you might think. But yeah, so it's a quite flexible amp, the Gain Baby 100, because it has that additional presence control and the little tight switch. Foot switchable volume control. The Rockerverb has a spring reverb though, and an attenuator. So that is cool. Let's try it with a boost. So I'll just add a Maxon OD808 up front. It's going to get a little bit noisy. Sorry about that. We're going to start with the Rockerverb and see how that sounds with the boost. And let's turn the mids to noon. Let's lower the mids on the Gain Baby as well. Tightens it up really nicely. I like it. Now let's try the Maxon OD808 with the Gain Baby 100. Yeah, they both seem to take boosts well, even though the Gain Baby is a little bit more noisy than the Rockerverb. So that's something to take note of. But yeah, the boost worked well for both, I think. So in terms of the gain sounds, yeah, the Rockerverb is definitely more smooth and more tube-like. And there's a bit of a different mid-range character going on the Gain Baby 100. It is a solid-state amp after all, so there is bound to be some differences, but it's a great amp. You know, the form factor is great, it's very solid, and of course it's more affordable than this big and heavy tube amplifier. Let's also do a quick comparison of the clean channels. Let me set up some tones and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I've dialed in some clean tones with the EQ controls in the middle. So both clean channels on both amps only have a bass and treble control for the EQ and the volume control. So right now I'm on the Rockerverb and it sounds something like this. Now I did have to put the volume quite low and turn the attenuator up in order to get proper levels for this video, as I'm not doing this in a very loud level, even though I'm using my ISO cab. Nice clean tone. I really like this clean channel. Now the Gain Baby 100. Let's switch back and forth. Not too dissimilar, but the Rockerverb sounds a little bit more shimmery, if that's a word, a little bit more bright. We can try brightening up the Gain Baby just to see if that makes it sparkle a little bit more. It's a little bit more scooped, the Rockerverb, I'd say. So Rockerverb, Gain Baby. Yeah, so there definitely is a difference there. Again, the Rockerverb is a little bit more scooped and gentle sounding, and the Gain Baby has a bit more mid-range going on, so that's cool. The Rockerverb does have a spring reverb, so let's enable that and see how that sounds. I mean, it's called the Rockerverb for a reason, right? But that's a nice touch. It's cool to have that for the clean channel. Obviously, the Gain Baby 100 doesn't have that, so we can't try it, you know. However, the Gain Baby 100 does have a compressor on the clean channel. And I'll let you hear how that sounds because we're here anyway, right? When I raise the compressor threshold, the level is going to change. So I'm going to need to dial that in for a second. That adds some nice squish. Let's see how it compares to the Rockerverb now. It adds some nice warmth for sure. Let's add some more compression. Funky. So yeah, that's cool to have that on there and to make your clean tones really squished, which is nice, right? So that was this comparison of the Orange Rockerverb 50 Mark III tube amplifier head versus the Orange Gain Baby 100 solid state amplifier. You know, this is a tube amplifier. It doesn't get better than this. And, you know, this is the best Orange amp ever made, in my opinion. So it's the winner. However, if you want something very similar, more affordable, more compact, more rugged, and perhaps, you know, more indestructible, then the Gain Baby 100 is a great option as well. Look at how small this is, you know. Yeah, you can put this in a small gig bag, which you do get with these amplifiers, by the way, I think. So, you know, strap it on and take it to your gig, and that's that. And this is much more heavy and hefty, and again, more expensive. So, but yeah, it's hard to beat that tube magic. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below because I'd love to know. Also, please hit the like and subscribe buttons as that really helps the channel out. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to support this channel, get something at my affiliate links for Thomann and Sweetwater, like an Orange amplifier. I'd really appreciate that as that helps the channel out at no additional cost for you. And you can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.